And welcome back, everybody. We are once again back with a podcast. Mitch is joining us again. You guys got two podcasts without Mitch because me and Tristan record those in rapid fire mode before Thanksgiving. But
Yeah, I'm just glad I got.
Did Ricardo not show up to those?
No,
Wow.
I think it was he woke up. Yeah, he woke up late.
yeah,
Also, literally my excuse.
Ricardo lives on New York time, so you never know when Crazy Steve down the road is going to try to climb up his side of the building and fire escape.
That's
Yeah,
that's fair.
Although fire escapes in New York City, man, Ricardo must be rolling in money if he has one, because
I thought they all had them.
technically, yeah, but that means you're getting into like the $3,000 apartments that's 100 square feet.
It's either you had the money or you've been living there most of your life.
So generational wealth.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. So, speaking of everything that's going on, we are back. As always, I am your host, Armin. You guys can look forward to a members topic where we're going to talk about Avengers versus X-Men being planned for the MCU, according to reports. And I made two videos where I rank the DC TV shows because the CW and DC era is now over. And I made another one where I ranked the entire... Yeah, spoilers.
Number one. No.
We all know what's number one. It's Superman Lois. You don't even need to know anything else. But I did also rank the DCEU. And boy, I did not realize that franchise consisted of so much trash and like three good projects. So, yeah. Spoilers on that as well, I guess. But as always, I am joined by Mitch.
You can find me on the link trees, whichever direction it is. I don't know anymore. It's either this side or it's that side. It's on the screen. If you see the name, it's underneath it. Just go there. It's on there.
Go there.
Now
you
on
go.
Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Fuck Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. No. Also joining us as always is Tristan.
Hey guys, the same as always. Got some reviews coming out. Or I know there's one that was in the community tab that showed up for TMNT issue 4. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of sad for Donnie. It was like one of the saddest issues.
Oh.
I also got the merch shop that I'm opening. It's almost done. I'm just waiting for one more thing, but I got keychains actually.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Look at that. Somebody is showing their own merchandise on this. I never figured we'd get there, but although we've kind of been there. But again, I always forget. It's like,
what, you forgot Shark Pouch? Nah.
Time to bring that back. How about bring that back on a t-shirt? I have to have that design somewhere still.
I don't even know if I still have it.
Man. It's funny you mentioned that because the other day I saw a video that was recommended. And the thumbnail was like, how the worst artist in the world became a multimillionaire. And it's a picture of the Captain America and Rob Liefeld's face. And I briefly just watched a preview, and it's like, thank the 90s and the word extreme. I was like, God damn it, my generation.
Yeah,
this is your fault.
Yeah, seeing Rob a lot. He's over here in California, and when he does the con circuits, he makes his money just because he does not care if you hate his art or not. Yep. He'll sign anything. You bring him pouches, he will literally sign the pouches for like, I think it was like $40 or $50 a pop.
Also, my buddy Adam knows when we went to a Comic-Con together, and he was like, I'm going to get Rob Liefeld to sign all my stuff. And it was like autographs, $70. And he's like, cool, I got that money. He goes up, he's like, first appearance of Deadpool, first appearance of Cable, first appearance of X, Y, or Z. It's another $50 premium. Adam was like, what the
and people pay him because I seen the lines. They're long.
Oh my God, yeah. It's when I was in Las Vegas Comic-Con or Amazing Las Vegas, his line must have been like 400 people long, and I was just like, okay, why not? Sure.
Comic nerds are dumb. We've established.
Yeah, there's some. Dumb. Yeah, I don't get it, but hey, why not? Why not? If you want to spend your money like that, go ahead. Who am I to judge? I spend my money on dumber things like
I mean, it's their prerogative, right? But I will judge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's their money, but still, it's like you get the joke, don't you?
You are the joke. Well, speaking of jokes, I guess we'll jump into our first topic, as there's a joke against not just who we're talking about here, but a lot of actors that signed on to the MCU. But let's talk about Simu Liu, who of course plays Shang-Chi. Now, he along with many other actors who were hired for the MCU, like the cast of the Eternals, the cast of She-Hulk, and multiple other projects. I mean, Miss Marvel, for example, right? And that cast. They're pretty much nowhere to be found. And Simu Liu seems to be the one that's the most vocal in an indirect way, because people have found online that he's pretty much disliking or liking all the videos hating on Bob Iger and Marvel Studios cutting back on diversity and bringing these characters back and how they're ignoring them. And I'm like, yeah, like,
I mean,
yeah,
technically he's kind of valid because of how they're going about it, and it's all predicated to the bottom line. But in retrospect, it's Disney and Marvel higher ups their fault technically, because they didn't have an outline of what they're actually going to be doing, instead of going into 2020 and just greenlighting everything and just seeing what sticks, and most of it not sticking because people want quality, not quantity.
But also, you got the issue that people are like, there's a misconception today, and I tested 2 friends of mine who were fans of the MCU. Let's put it that way, right? You know how it is. After Endgame, nothing's good, whatever. I asked them, I was like, so you didn't like Shang-Chi or Eternals for X, Y, and Z. Why do you think they're not getting sequels? They're like, they didn't even make $1 billion like all the other MCU films. I was like, which ones? They were like, well, all the Captain Americas, all the Thors. And I was like, actually, factually, Eternals and Shang-Chi made as much as Thor, way more than the Incredible Hulk, way more than Captain America 1, especially in merchandise sales. So I showed them numbers, and they were like, well, I was like, okay, so you're part of the grift now. You're just revisionist history, and it's like,
it's like, you can not like certain characters and be whatever, that's fine. But if you're gonna try and change facts from history about what actually happened to these movies and what came out, then it's kind of just disingenuous with your opinion.
Yeah, it's like, we're at a point now where a new franchise isn't given room to breathe anymore and to grow. It's like, it's got to hit with minimum of 650 million, $1 billion guarantees a sequel, and then you're good. And it's like, but how are you supposed to cultivate that if you're not giving it the same treatment you gave everything else? Like, I know many people don't want it. I would like to see an Eternals too. I really would. Because
don't lie to them.
You can see through
I've got the DMs to prove that's not right.
But I genuinely, like, I do want to see those characters back and doing stuff in the MCU, especially like Cersei, for example. Like, there's so many cool characters, and I'm like, oh, so we're just barely going to see any of them again. And it's like, because they're not afforded the same chance that the MCU was. Ant-Man 1 wasn't $1 billion franchise, neither was Doctor Strange, but they're growing closer to it. So
I think ultimately the biggest problem here is COVID. Because part of me is like, sure, the optics of Phase 4 and everything is I didn't have a plan. Like, that's fair enough. I can see where people get that from. I do genuinely think a lot of the stuff was made with the intention just to be one and dones,
right?
Just with the sole purpose of having a massive cast of Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do Secret Wars with the cast we just had and keep adding like 1 or 2 in there. It's ridiculous.
Right?
You can't do that at all. So stuff like Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, like, they're very much one and dones. We'll see you next time, right? Like, or here's Miss Marvel in the Marvels. But I think a lot of it is purely the way corporations have been since the pandemic. It's like, we have to have everything now. We need these billions right now. We have to just nickel and dime everyone, scrape everything together, because whatever's happening is going to happen at some point, and they're going to just be on their island, right? Like rest of Australia.
Yeah, but it's like I think it's like from what they said from pandemic is that they seen all these astronomical profits, and they want to keep those profits because they're getting more and more of the money that they wanted. But as everything steadily went back to a kind of normal, all those profits started to dwindle, and now they have to try and find some way to get those profits back, which is, let's greenlight a whole bunch of stuff, and hopefully with the Marvel branded name, you can consistently hit the $600 million mark on a lot of these things to get the profit margins back up to where they were when it was during the COVID.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the see what sticks part comes in, because I don't believe in any reality that Shang-Chi had a plan for a TV show revolving around his sister.
Yeah, that's such a weird one. That's so weird.
Like, sure, like that's a cliffhanger in the movie, right? But that's clearly going to be something else for his sequel if he ever gets one. Like same with the Eternals with the Celestials at the end. Like that was clearly meant for a sequel there.
Yeah. It was weird how they approached the announcement to all these things. You know, they're like, oh, we're doing a Shang-Chi 2. We're doing a spin-off TV series. Black Panther's getting a sequel and 3 TV series. You're like, what? You know, it's
and where's any of them?
No. Yeah, you're lucky if you're getting Eyes of Wakanda in summer, and that's it, I guess. And that wasn't even one of the initial pitched ones, so it's like, all right, whatever. Cool. Like, yeah.
And sure, we get in Black Panther 3, everyone knows that was
that's obviously,
obvious.
Thanks, Denzel Washington.
Thanks for telling everyone what we already knew. Right.
Yeah, it's true. So
yeah, I think a lot of the problem comes from that. It's just to try and do too much to get too much.
Yeah,
they were already planning to do too much as it was, so just throwing everything out like, we need stuff for Disney Plus. What can we do? Shang-Chi spin-off. There you go, done.
Yeah, that was clearly it at the time, and I do think that there's definitely been a pullback, and especially if you hear their like discussion about the future of Disney Plus, and they're like, well, we're looking at Daredevil Born Again now as sort of a template and Agatha all along. It's like, oh, so you're going to
TV show.
You're going to budgets that are going to be manageable. Like Agatha was under 40 million. Born Again is under 70. So I think anything you see in the future, Daredevil's probably the high end of the budget, which,
possibly,
yeah. And it's
depending
like,
what they do.
Right. Like you should probably pull that back, and I think you should probably do that for the films as well. Like, you can do a Shang-Chi 2 for $100 million, but the way Marvel Studios operates with so much CG that gets wasted and they spend 6 months working on it only to throw it away, I don't know. Maybe you can't anymore. Maybe the optics have changed there. So,
yeah, I think even that's down to the pandemic, right? Where it's just they're trying to rush everything and rush it in when they can do it. Like, it's
and it worked. And then also with how they're now trying to not offend anyone, especially with the like constant redoing and filming certain stuff from Captain America, and it's like in a political thriller, you're going to offend someone because of what the movie entails, and seeing this, how they're trying to get as much money as they possibly can by trying not to offend anyone is just technically ruining the movie before it even comes out.
Yep, it's sad, but that's the status of everything today. So it's I guess
at least Cap has a chance. Obviously, there's the.
I know he has a chance, but hearing all this because they're trying to do reshoots because of certain in real life things happen, and not wanting to offend like most of the casual audience if they lean into a certain political view. And I'm like, do you not understand the point of Captain America?
No, the grifters don't. Like, they're dumb. So it's, I mean, when James Gunn has to go out there and in his opening statement about Creature Commandos has to go, I'm not worried about offending the Nazi fan base, and then says F them. And half the comments are like, why is he against me? Because you're a Nazi. Like, what? So like, we're at that point where you have to be slapped in the face with being like, this isn't made for you, evil person. It's sure.
There's a history book instead. Like, read it.
That they can't read. Come on. They need somebody to explain it to them and twist all the words into what they think it is.
I mean, that tends to be what school is for.
No, that's true too. But Cletus dropped out of school, so it's yeah.
Cletus' family couldn't afford free public school.
It's true. Well, I guess that's gonna end it with that. But let's talk a little bit about Superman. So we got a bit of Superman news recently. The biggest one among these is the report that the trailer for Superman was turned down by WB. That whatever was wrong with it, they didn't like it. And they told James Gunn to re-edit this. Now, outside of, if somebody else would have reported this, fine. I would have been like, I don't think it's true. The fact that it's somebody I've known for 20 years who works in the industry, who's a filmmaker, who's written for big websites, like big websites, and I've literally known him for 21 years now. We met on a forum back in the day, talking about comic books, sure enough, and he put this out there, and I was like, I trust this 100%. He's never had a reason to lie. Again, he works in the industry. He's connected, especially to the DC side of things. So I do want to say, I'm not worried about the trailer being bad, because believe it or not, trailers are rejected all the time. I know somebody who worked on a trailer for a Marvel Studios project. He and his company that cut the trailer together had to resubmit that trailer minimum of 16 times in 2 weeks. Because Marvel was like, nope, we don't like that. Nope, we don't like that. We don't like that. Oh, you got this right. Do the rest of it. So maybe it's just that, it happens all the time, like film edits as well. How many times do you cut down the film?
Yeah.
Constantly. Like trailers are the same way.
Here's the big one that shouldn't make it surprising the slightest. Concept art.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They sell books of the stuff, and it's like the same suit like 8,000 times. Like,
yeah.
Nothing's made first go ever.
Right.
If you make something from your first go around, you are doing something fundamentally wrong.
But what about all the fans saying they should have done that from the concept art from the first go around? They said it was automatically better.
Yeah. There's always that angle. Like, and what's funny to me is like, this is already a way to discredit James Gunn, being like, see, he's bad. His Superman's terrible. It's like, guys.
This is ultimately the problem of where over the last like 15 years, Hollywood's been like lifting the curtain a little bit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's got a slight understanding of maybe how stuff is put together.
Yeah.
No one has any idea on the outside how things are actually made.
Yeah.
And it's the same with video game industry as well. Like people have no clue how anything's made. And it's
like I'm just gonna say, like, even for people who don't understand how things are made, like concept art and the go arounds, like just to go into like some real life examples. Whenever I make a character and I'm working with my reference artist, we're going through multiple different renditions of said character, going into like, I think sometimes it's where 9, 15 different renditions of a character, going through the personality of the character, what's their life like, and what type of style that they lead with the hair and all this other stuff. So the first concept art is just that, just to see where you can go from there, and you can get up to 15, 20, maybe even 30 times of a go around before you land on that one specific thing that that's perfect for what the project is.
Yep.
So also the clues in the name, right? Concept.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I don't hear concept. I hear finished product. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true though. Like
when everyone goes, we were robbed. It's like, you weren't robbed. You were never getting it in the first place.
Yeah, you were never getting
It was
that.
the idea they had. No one liked it and agreed on it.
Right.
It wouldn't have worked for XYZ reason. You have no idea why that didn't happen.
It's kind of like how when I remember this specifically because a bunch of the DCEU grifters who don't exist anymore, they all had YouTube channels and pages. When Civil War hit, Captain America Civil War, and there was one rejected concept art of Baron Zemo. They were all obsessed with him wearing the mask, and the jacket. He needs the mask, and they didn't even know that there's been multiple Zemos, and that's technically not the Zemo that they were going for at the time. And it's like finally they got the design, and they're like, well, it was better in the other concept art. It's like, like, come on, like, there's nothing wrong with trailers going through iterations. It happens all the time. Whatever James Gunn is cooking up, let's wait till the trailer drops, which at this point, by the time this podcast goes up, his trailer might be out because CCXP is this weekend. So, I mean, we'll talk about that.
I'd be surprised if it's not this week, to be honest.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Surprised.
It would be weird and shocking because they're right there, because you think you would want to attach that to Sonic, Lion King, Captain America in February, which they got to have those trailers locked in by the end of January. Like, I mean, it's there. They're there. So, like,
yeah, it's just one of those where people need to stop pretending they know everything. And so I know I'm going to sit here and be like, you know nothing. It's like, I know nothing. I have no clue how the sausage is actually made. I have a vague idea. It's like, you can look at something and be like, well, that doesn't make sense.
mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, something here must have happened. Not, they hate me. They hate this. We were
like,
robbed. It's
I am
always
friends with the guy that designed Sam Wilson's suit and Wanda's suit in Multiverse of Madness. I personally know him.
Sam Wilson suit.
The one we got in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know,
the good one, not the
good one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the good one. So I was talking with him at one point and some other people in that department, and he just kind of explained to me how much work it takes to just get like a belt done on a suit.
Yeah.
It's not just like make the belt. They're like, no. You got to make different iterations where the rivets are, depending on the movement for the stuntman. Like, he was explaining it to me. I was like, oh my God, now it makes sense. And he was like, that's why you don't get like those companies that make the cosplay suits, right? They make them from what they see on the screen. But practically, you can't have that same material mesh on the inside of the elbow because you need more freedom. And I'm like, my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
like,
you get screen accurate, but it's never accurate.
Exactly.
Mainly because the bit you're taking it from doesn't exist because it's CGI. Right?
Exactly. Like, there's so much going on. And when he explained that to me, and one of his friends was like, yeah, here's what I worked on. And he worked on a DCEU project. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I kind of understand the process of how you got to this suit. And that's so complex. It's so much more than I thought went into it. Like, I guarantee, like, the suit we're seeing in Superman is so much more complex than what it looks like on set. Like, there's layers to that suit physically and stuff we're not seeing.
Yeah.
So
it's like you can go to look at Ahsoka, right? I even just noted the suit, like just makeup, like actual practical effects. People like complain that the hair tendril things weren't as long. It's like, yeah, great. That's a stunt problem. Like you're flipping around and this shit's like here, you can't see anything. Like the stunt goes wrong, someone's hurt, right? You can't have that. Like, sure, they're trying to slowly make them longer, right? But that's why it was shorter, because they just couldn't get it to work with the stunts.
Yeah,
like obviously they'll find a way to do it. That's why you get like slight suit changes as well, because it's not just toys. It's like, we figured this thing out. Like, let's use it now.
Right.
That's like, there's always a reason for something. I know people don't want to hear it, don't want to give a crap. They just want to be validated that they're right, and it's always some nefarious reason. But it's always just something like, it didn't work. We can't get it to work at this point. Maybe we'll try again later down the line. It's always something like that.
Yep, that's true. You know, like, the best example I can give is Captain America's suit in the first Avenger and the Winter Soldier. When he gets the Smithsonian suit, people think that that's the first Avenger suit. I have both of those. They're not the same. The Smithsonian suit is completely different in so many ways, but they just slightly made it look like the one, so your eyes and your brain would think it's the same. And that was done, again, because he wears a suit, practical reasons. So I think that type of process and what DC's doing with iterating on everything is honestly good to hear, because it's not just like, thanks, James, you made a good trailer, let's just put it out. It's like, no, eyes are on it, being like, James, maybe this doesn't work, or it works with you, but it doesn't work with 10 other people, you know? Like, I think that's a smart process.
It's nice to know that it's just standard, right? It's like, cool, you're doing things normally.
Yeah. And
there's nothing odd going. They're like, cool.
Right.
Great.
And do you guys want to know who WB never said no to up until it was too late? Zack Snyder. Batman v Superman came out. They were like, we never told him no. And then for Justice League, they were like, don't do any of this, please. And he didn't listen still. And there was the end result. So maybe sometimes saying no to somebody is a good idea, but I don't know. Who knows? So that's it for that. We'll wrap it up. Hopefully we'll be talking about that Superman trailer relatively soon. But
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully, let's talk a little bit about the Hulk and She-Hulk's future. This is interesting. So I guess we'll start with She-Hulk. Apparently, there might be some discussion about bringing her back for a season 2.
I hope so.
I would like it, but
I love season 1. I thought it was one of the best shows I've done.
same.
Even now.
Yeah, just give the CGI some time to cook, and it would have been even better.
I still don't think the CGI was as bad as everyone says it was.
The further they get away from her, the worse it looks. But that's
sure, but that's literally everything.
That's everything. Like,
Like anything animated, anything CGI, and anything 3D. If you render a detail at a distance, you are wasting time.
Here's the solution to this: everything in season 2 needs to be in the dark, because that's how you.
So season 2 is just in New York, then, right?
Right there, you go. Like, if you watch something like Spider-Man: No Way Home, again, I love that film, but the entire third act is in the dark around the Statue of Liberty, and it's because 1, everything was CG. 2, they wanted to mask some of the bad CG. I recently just watched
before that, isn't it like the moment Aunt May dies, it's night?
Yeah, it's straight up just cut to night, and it's like, I recently watched the film. I busted out my 4K disc just to watch it because I didn't want to watch it streaming. And boy, do the details just fall apart in that film. There is some real bad CG because, again, they were rushing the film out. They had to patch it 3 times in theaters. Like, it shows. I think with She-Hulk, if we were to get a second season, my hopes are 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Write something that's tight, and also maybe pull back a little bit on some of the stuff that a lot of people didn't like. I'm not saying all of it, but there are a couple things you're like, you could probably pull back on this a little bit and it wouldn't affect the whole overall series. Like, that's not Madison, because she was great. You should keep her in every single. When Madison is not around, everybody should be asking, "Where's Madison?" Okay, that's a lot.
Where's that why? We need to know where the why goes. It's not where we think.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's very interesting because do we know the situation with Hulk and She-Hulk and all the other Hulk related characters? Because so far, from what I remember, is that as long as the Hulk related characters are in another character's story, Marvel can use them for whatever they want. But if they want like a standalone Hulk story, for the most part, I think it's like, was it like this? Is like distribution or something was with Universal?
Yeah, isn't it Universal and distribution rights? Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason why they made She-Hulk, right?
Yeah,
because they could clearly use She-Hulk as the name and the title for everything, so that's a workaround. So I imagine that's probably more the reason why we get a She-Hulk season 2 more than anything.
Honestly, if they were to pivot to She-Hulk and the Incredible Hulk, and that's season 2, yeah, I would be down for that, and then have that build up World War Hulk, which apparently is still going to use Maestro. So like that could be a good in. It's like, hey, Hulk is here. He's trying to deal with his kid. She's with him. They're kind of trying to, all bond together and be like, hey, we got to stick together. Now there's a red one out there. There's a blue one. Apparently there's a bunch of them. Like, you could kind of see how a second season could go. And again, I do think the budget is the biggest problem, where each episode of She-Hulk was like 30 to 40 million. That's
if you're gonna get that right when it's such a CGI heavy character.
Exactly.
How do you get around?
And
I
also,
can't think of a way. How
people forget this. Part of that budget is R&D. Having to reinvent what Abomination looks like cost millions of dollars. Same with She-Hulk, the iterative process and the CG. Like, you pay artists to design one version, and then Marvel Studios comes in and goes, we need this, this, and this changed. That's another 3 weeks of payment that they have to go through. Like, so a lot of that now is gone because they know what they look like. So they could probably cost reduce each episode by 10 million minimum, from what I've been told. Yeah. So
they can go the even cheaper route, just paint them in green and have them go to town and they act in the apartment.
Oh, we could not.
It worked in the past.
Did it work? Did Lou Ferrigno's Hulk actually work?
Yeah, it's seeing a big hulking guy come out of nowhere.
To be fair, there's dudes on steroids today that are like 7'2" and they're like 480 pounds. So maybe if you slap some green paint on those guys,
but they can barely move. If you put them, if you make them act, they're gonna have a heart attack, right? Like,
that's true. Yeah, but they can
that life insurance.
But come on, Mitch, they can lift weight. That's all you need Hulk to do. Just to constantly pumping.
You want him to like barely lift a car up? There you go.
We're in. Oh man.
To be fair, their balls are about the same size as the people that want that. So
yeah. It's true. And like looking at the bigger future of Hulk, we keep hearing, and we know for a fact now that there's a production starting next year in London in fall. That's a big production for Marvel Studios. We don't know what it is, and apparently they're aiming to put it out before Secret Wars. So it might be that one mystery film. Could that be World War Hulk? Because that feels like it needs to be, like...
Yeah, maybe. Or it could be the 1000th Need for Speed film.
Marvel making the Need for Speed film? Wow.
Well, if they want Hulk back with Universal.
Oh God, can you imagine if that's how they get it back?
Yeah.
Like, guys, we're sorry, we have to do it. Please. Just Feige comes out at the start of the film on stage again.
So we want the Hulk, man. We want the Hulk.
In order to bring the Hulk to the MCU full time, we had to work with Universal to bring in family. So in the next 30 minutes, you're going to see Dom fight the Hulk. Family.
What if that's all it is? We have to give Vin Diesel a role.
Another role.
Oh.
That's not Black Bolt.
He's kind of fell off. No, that is the worst casting in history. Ensign Mount was always a good casting, and he showed it for the 2 minutes he was alive.
Yeah, and I think the only reason people wanted the fan casting for Black Bolt is because of him and Riddick. That's literally all.
Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah.
That's true.
I can tell you. No. And we're going like, he hasn't got to talk. It's like, it doesn't matter. He still has to act even more there at that point. He's got to use his eyes. He's got to actually emote and everything. It's going to be worse.
People don't think about this.
People don't think.
That's true. So
really depressing.
Yeah. I guess we're going to know more about this stuff soon. So when we know more about what's happening with the Hulks, we'll talk about it. Obviously, there's a couple things happening at Marvel Studios that probably could include the Hulks. So, we keep hearing Captain America. I mean, that's going to obviously have Red Hulk and possibly
later,
possibly Amadeus Cho, according to reports. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. We'll see about that. But now let's swing on over to our final topic of discussion. Spider-Man 4. It's already hit a roadblock.
Wow.
I saw the name of the topic for this now. My first thought was, can it be delayed if it hasn't got a date?
Yeah. So here's what's happening. Spider-Man 4 is scheduled for July of 26. Okay, perfect. They need to start production if they want it out minimum by July of 25. And 12 months is going to be cutting it close. What's happened is that the production has reportedly been pushed back to September or October of next year.
Yeah, that's fine.
So if that happens, the film is delayed into December of 26 easily. I'm
gonna be honest. Spider-Man is better as a Christmas movie anyway. So.
I think that worked honestly tremendously for them.
Well,
it's the highest grossing movie, right?
Yeah, it's Spider-Man. He's gonna make the million or billion. Whether they try or not. So
you say that.
It is going to get close.
They didn't try with TASM, and
it's not TASM. Okay,
this ain't TASM. Oh, yeah.
What if it is TASM? What if that is the reason why? Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Just a dead silence. What if it's TASM? Yep. I mean,
I see it all the time. It's all. What if we put Andrew Garfield and all this? And I was like, can we not? First, you guys want a street level movie. Now we're going multiverse only if this particular actor comes back or Tobey Maguire comes back as well. Then that's the only way you'll accept a multiverse movie. And I'm like, at that point, you guys just want another fan service, spot the old character that you saw in the movie 20 years ago.
And the problem with
that's the secret, right?
Yeah.
People complain about fan stuff. That's all they want.
That's all they want, yeah. And that's the sad matter of the truth is, if they do that, right? Let's just say they bring back Andrew and Toby and bring back more villains from their films that we didn't see previously. And then Null and Venom are in there. everybody's going to come back and complain that the film is too overstuffed and nothing has time to breathe, and they're just retreading what made them $2 billion, despite the fact that that's what the people want. And this has been proven time and time again with fans demanding, do this in Star Wars, do that. They literally do what the fans were demanding, and then they go, why'd you do that?
It was like, this is not in the way that I envisioned exactly how it was supposed to be.
The biggest one I could think of is like deep fake, or don't deep fake Han Solo, just cast a new actor. They do it, it's hated. And then Luke comes back as a deep fake. They're like, but the actor looked just like a young Mark Hamill. Why did you have to deep fake him? It's like, because that's what you asked for Solo. Like, the fans.
Yeah, but that wasn't Solo's problem. That wasn't Solo's problem.
Solo had other problems. Like, nobody cares about.
Movie for one.
No, nobody cares about that universe in that way. Like, nobody cares about
That's true.
They care about a bounty hunter like Boba Fett, but that's the extent of it. Like, anybody I talk to, the street stuff or like the smuggler stuff, they're like, I don't care. I'm like, I get it. Lightsaber's cool, smuggler not so cool. You know, like it's
alien kids. No one cares about. I've seen
Peak,
two.
Mitch.
I have seen
Peak.
two. No, Peak is down to Dan. All right.
No.
I haven't mentioned it. It's Thursday, all right? Leave me alone. It's today. It's my sacred day. No one. I've seen two people talk about Skeleton Crew.
Is it me and Dalton?
Yes.
No, I haven't even seen Dalton talk about it.
I saw him. He did it once. He talked about it once.
To be fair, we're all standing Neil as he's the greatest character in all of Star Wars ever.
That's all I see about it. It's just that damn elephant with that.
Yeah, the elephant is the only one people talk about.
Best character.
And it's just like, I want to watch Skeleton Crew. I just can't be asked. No.
It's good. It's good. That's what I'll give it. It's a complete. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, and that's the best compliment I can give it. It's and there's also
I want to watch. I want to watch Star Wars.
Well, there's a very Star Wars thing that happens in the second episode that changes everything, and I was like, this is actually more intriguing than anything I had up until this point, because they flip the story like upside down and sideways on its head, and like I know somebody like
you're gonna get all the Endor fans mad.
Oh yeah.
Jared.
No. Jared. I haven't texted him in a while. I should just text him Andor and see what he says.
That's right. I shot an Andor yesterday.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Somebody's got to do it. Oh man. So I don't know. Like, I'm not too worried about production delay, but this would then mean that whatever starts they have another film coming out in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's Spider-Man and something else. What is this something else that's then going to get rushed or come out in October or November prior to December of Spider-Man? Like, that's too much rapid fire again, I feel. Something gets lost in the shuffle.
4. That's what it is. They got to do no somehow, right?
Oh.
But I wonder if a lot of this is due to Holland and Zendaya being in Nolan's next movie.
Yeah. And apparently, like, they need to shoot relatively soon, and then Spider-Man doesn't even have a complete script, so maybe that is kind of what's going to hold it up. I mean, it makes sense, you know? So,
to bring it back to the whole conversation we had about 10 minutes ago about understanding how it doesn't work how you think it works. To not just jump on, there's got to be a problem. It's like, no, it could just be something as simple as scheduling.
Which
it probably is, but
that's always a massive problem in the industry too. Scheduling, like, you got to take up a project, and if your project starts falling behind, you're free to go do other things. And if you start that, then the other project that was first, technically, that's got to be bumped back. And then the third project you took on, that's indefinitely delayed, which means that, for better or for worse, probably for better, the next Uncharted film, which was going to shoot before Spider-Man again, is probably now shooting after Spider-Man, which is a reverse of what happened before. He shot Uncharted, and the last day of Uncharted was his first day on Spider-Man 3 or No Way Home. Like, Tom Holland was literally filming for like 18 months straight. So it's I could see that happening again in reverse. So, like,
yeah, you have the Peter Parker haircut in Uncharted now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably some outtakes where he calls himself Drake instead of Peter.
They'll have the last shot of Spider-Man 4 like just be the first shot of Uncharted. So you can watch them
transition.
back and it's just whoop.
Just Mark Wahlberg shows up with a terrible mustache.
Be the most expensive TikTok cap cut edit you'll ever see in your life. That's what it's gonna
be. They would use CapCut too. You got to be trendy because it's got to sell good on the trailer that plays on TikTok. Yeah. So yeah, that's true. Everything shot vertically.
Vertically in the middle, center frame.
Yep, that's
Waste
it.
The space here and here.
I love it. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Spider-Man 4's production delay. It is just disappointing that it's going to be more than 5 years between Spider-Man films. It's insane to think about that.
I'm fine with that. There was 3 of a minute. You put 6 years, 2 years each. That's totally fine with me.
Yeah, they got it rapidly done before, so it's fine. Like
also, if you're trying to sort everything out, I'd rather them just take their time with everything. We don't. People go on about how too much came out too quickly. Like, yeah, cool. Now let's just grind it back to a whole. I know it's the opposite end of the spectrum, but you build it back up. It's better to build back up than it is to take off.
That's not the Sony Pictures way of doing movies. So
no, but it's the Marvel way.
The fact that after Kraven the Hunter, they have nothing until the next Spider-Man because Beyond the Spider-Verse is animated. So yeah, they've got. On TV, they'll have Noir, and that's probably going to be way better than anything else they've produced.
I forgot about that.
Everyone forgets about it because no one wants it. People say they want
Mitch,
no one wants.
Mitch,
no one wants Spider-Man. No one cares about Spider-Man.
I am married to the only one big Spider-Man Noir fan in the world. Okay, she loves Spider-Man Noir.
Even that's she loves the image of Spider-Man.
Even she's lying.
It's the Ghost Rider problem, right? No one actually likes Ghost Rider as a character.
They just like the concept,
image of Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
that's like the image of Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like you're gonna see Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, and then it's all we get to see like 1940s Peter Parker. No, he's Ben Reilly,
and also he uses guns and he's very violent. Yep, he's Ben Reilly in this.
Yeah.
Yep. They're not allowed to use Peter Parker.
That's when it was coming out. It was saying this Spider Noir is not going to be a Peter Parker. It's going to be something else, and then it came out even more saying it was going to be the name was going to be Ben Reilly.
I mean, yeah, they're doing it for rights reasons because only the films can have Peter Parker, so TV can't. Crazy.
No, I'm not a Ben Reilly fan in the slightest. But Ben Reilly deserves better than that. Quite honestly, there's no need to do Ben Reilly that dirty.
They already did it in the comics. Have you seen Chasm?
Chasm.
Yeah, he's not Spider-Man or Spider anymore. He's a villain with a cool costume, but he's called Chasm because he wants his memories back.
I just looked that up, and this gave me amnesia. I want to forget this. I'm going to forget this. What is this?
Ben Reilly?
Yeah. Wow, this suit is terrible.
Well, people like it, but they don't like the idea. But behind the villain characters is basically they made Ben Reilly a whiny little child without actually like talking to Peter to see if you can get a copy of his memories implanted into yours because the funny thing about that is that in that sort of crossover, they had Jean Grey's clone.
Oh,
she made a copy. Jean Grey made a copy of her memories for her clone, and they didn't bother to do that for Peter and Ben Reilly. So Ben Reilly just went off being crazy and a villain, and now he still wants to steal Peter's memories because he needs them.
His design is like Insomniac at their worst. That's what he looks like.
I'm not googling that. I was about to, but no.
It's like a purple Carnage. I can't even explain it.
Technically, like it's purple Carnage. The main colors I think are like purple and like some type of like dark blue with green.
Kristen, explain this to me. Why is he radiating green energy?
Oh, that's because of the Beyond Corporation. He fell in He fell in goop, and that's what happened.
This is why I stopped reading comics. Okay, this is exactly why.
Like he legit fell in goop, he came out all crazy, and then he has technically new power, extra new powers, and he has that weird costume.
This just gave my brain a chasm, whatever might consist of.
It just like summarizes to what the editorial on the comic side is, because after the success of Miles, one of the editors, when they were talking about this, because the fans did not like the direction that they were going with Ben, in the newsletter part, they specifically said that there's only room in the world of Spider-Man. There's only room for two, and that's Peter and Miles. Everyone else doesn't matter as much. So there's no room for Ben Reilly or Kane as Spider people, because even back when Dan Slott tried to bring back most of the characters he killed off in the end of Spider-Verse, or one of the Spider-Verse events, he brought them back. And I kid you not, they apparently King died off screen and came back. That's how bad that this whole thing with other characters is that no one knew King died off screen. He came back just in that crossover thing. It says, "Oh, look, I'm alive again." It's like, you died?
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
like, yeah.
There's your Spider-Man.
I stopped reading Big Two.
Yeah. There's everybody's, I guess, modern day Marvel Spider-Man hour.
Well, this is not even technically. This is not like new. This is like from like last year.
Oh my God, it probably gets worse.
And it's just no, like it technically it did, because it confirms the fact that Ben didn't find some solace with who he is now. He just reaffirmed the fact that he's still going to be a villain, and he's still going to try to take Peter's memory, because he needs that to feel whole again. It's just one big, let's drag Ben Reilly down into the trenches and never let him out.
Well, okay, I guess we summed up Spider-Man. What we're going to talk about is the fact that they should never do this in film.
Oh no, people! There's fans. He said, "Oh, let's do something."
No.
Let's bring in Ben Reilly. It'd be so cool.
Bad.
What are they gonna do?
That's a terrible idea. That's bad. Okay, so wow, that summed up our 4 topics of the main show. Like I said, there will be another one, obviously, and then seeing as this is December, we're gonna do what we did before in about a week or two. We're going to pre-record some episodes for you guys, including our end of the year awards, which, boy, those are great.
Yeah, Ricardo's going to give Kraven his movie of the year award.
I mean, look, here's some of the great awards we hand out every year, like dumbest announcement of the year, Bob Iger, or biggest load of spunk of the year, the Go Woke, Go Broke Award, the Blank Ruined My Childhood, the Zaddy Daddy of the Year Award, the Tax Write-Off of the Year. You guys can look forward. And I'm adding 5 new awards this year because, rightfully so, there's going to be some deserving winners of these awards.
Was Madam Web out this year?
Yes.
It was. I don't know. I'm still holding out that Kraven might be a bigger load of spunk.
It probably is, because it's been done for over a year. Technically, it's supposed to come out last year, but they waited till this year to release it. So.
Yeah.
I was more thinking of like how much Sony's just going to sweep everything. Like, how they're going to divide all that stuff up.
There's probably 1 or 2 awards going to Bob Iger as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So thank you for joining us, everybody, for another week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast, and we'll be back next week, probably the same time at the same place. I don't know. We'll see. Later.